Well, here's 2012's prequel answer to last year's X-Men prequel and Planet of the Apes prequel. Prometheus is basically the prequel to Alien. Even though when they first started this, it wasn't meant to be the prequel to Alien, but actually it turned out to be the prequel to Alien. And it's directed by Ridley Scott, who also did the first original Alien. But this is actually quite funny because I haven't actually seen Alien at all. I know what basically happens in Aliens, I've seen that infamous scene in Alien, but I've never really sat down and watched the film at all. So I'm actually seeing this film through the eyes of someone that hasn't basically seen the franchise and seen what they actually think about this film. Now the story is that this group of team, they go out to this, I think it's this planet or one of the planet's moons, to find this these cave paintings or attics that kind of have a connection to something, and what they kind of discover, because they're hoping to discover the beginning of their existence, might also turn out to be their end, as there's something quite not right about it, and that whole disaster thing that happens, it happens. Now the one thing you'll probably notice is this is probably what I'm going to say Naomi Rapace's big feature-length debut. She did appear in Sherlock Holmes A Game of Shadows, but she was more like a supporting character, and normally that's good, but this was her full character, main cast, and she was actually really good in this film. Her accent wasn't pure Hollywood English or our English, but it was foreign English, and I think that can kind of help the film. Charlize Theron is in this film, and she just basically plays the bitch captain role. She's only there for the mission ahead, and if something she doesn't like, she'll basically just doesn't want to avoid that, and something epic happens to her that's contradicting, is bit unnecessary, but here we go. And Michael Fassbender as David. He is literally such an evil person in this film, or robot, as you can probably say. But there's a scene that he does. It's so deliberate, and he's that is only an evil person can actually think of that. Oh, sorry, evil robot. But hey, those were the big cast, and some of the supporting cast though. And this is where it kind of gets a bit. I feel they weren't really. They were only there to cause, just there to fill roles of the crew and whatnot, and they didn't really have anything big. There says the Scottish lass. Hopefully she was Scottish. She had a very good Scottish accent. She was there, but she was kind of annoying, and she didn't really do much. Guy Pearce was in it, but again didn't really do much in this film. Also, the one thing, but here's the other thing. The guy from, I think Lex Luthor or something, I think it's Luthor, right? He's in the film, he's actually good in it, but he doesn't really do much, and I think that's quite sad, really. But one of the things I did find was, I was expecting maybe a lot more action, but not at the start, but more around from the second half or whatnot. Doesn't really kick into around the third act. And then most of the time that's where all the disaster starts to happen and whatnot. And it just felt quite slow to begin with. It was just easing yourself there. And sometimes I was feeling a bit, getting a little lost interest in this whole film. But other than that, it's still pretty good. Also, some of the scene shots out this whole film is pretty awesome. You mistake it maybe for a Discovery Channel programme or something, like wildlife or whatnot, if it wasn't really that at all. But again, this film actually is really good. Which brings over to the rating. I'm going to give it a good rating. So it'll be I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Because I do like it. I probably will go and see it again if my mates, say, hey, do you want to go and see it again? It's aye, why not? But I haven't really seen Alien. I don't really appreciate it as much. And so, but if you are a fan of Alien or the whole series, this is probably a film you're going to absolutely love, and you'll probably give it a higher rating than I did.